Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football TITTH number 202. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got Stephen Hammond with me this evening. Happy Monday, sir. How are we doing?
Hey, Justin. It's going good. Another night of football.
Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's week 10 treating you? Let's talk some highs and lows.
Yeah, I mean, week 10 was pretty good. Lions not going 0-17 with that tie against the Steelers. I was riding heavy on them.
Great road team, the Lions.
I was heavy on them, so they pushed, didn't win. That's kind of a low. Yeah, what do you got?
Well, highs, Hunter Henry. I think we both shared some Hunter Henry highs this week.
Yeah.
Past the Tyreek Hill, that wasn't so bad either. That wasn't so bad. A couple of touchdowns from Tyreek, but I'm going to lose more fantasy games this week than I'm going to win. But none of them were super terrible. Everyone was just like, just 4 or 5 catches, 30 to 50 receiving yards. Just no like really booming production outside of like 1 or 2 teams. Aaron Rodgers coming back from COVID. I mean, definitely more to be desired there. I know that there was weather involved, but Aaron Rodgers isn't a guy that I am ever concerned with about playing in wind or snow or in Green Bay in general. So I was a little disappointed there. Aaron Jones is kind of like a high-low situation. Like it's low because obviously he sprained his MCL. He's going to be gone for 2 weeks, but he's not going to the IR. So woohoo! Like if you get hurt, you get hurt well. Aaron Jones, appreciate that. Can't say the same for losing Robert Woods. That really sucked.
Tough.
But we got some guys coming back. We got Saquon returning to practice this week. We had Cam Newton return to the NFL. We'll definitely talk about him later on in the fantasy waiver wire. So yeah, we got some stuff going on. Anything crazy that you need to happen tonight?
I just need a Rams win tonight to close off some parlays I had. And then my best prop for tonight, I got 2 actually. I have I'm throwing a dart at Odell Beckham. First touchdown. I like the number that it's at, plus 1,400. I was kicking myself because Cam Newton ended up scoring first touchdown, and I was thinking him maybe an anytime touchdown. So I'm just going to roll the dice. I'm going to throw Odell out there. And then I like Henderson, Darrell Henderson, anytime touchdown.
Me and Steve, we got the same best prop of the game, Darrell Henderson, anytime touchdown. We did not do that on purpose. Did not happen on purpose. I will tinker mine a little bit, and we'll go Gerald Henderson anytime touchdown and a Rams win. I'd also have the Rams coming out on top tonight. Matthew Stafford, 35 points, sir. Please and thank you. Would really appreciate that. 40, I wouldn't care about that either. 40 points wouldn't kill me, but I can't remember how many, what exactly. I think it's like 31 or 32. So let's just round off to 35 and have a couple of points of separation. You don't have to worry about the stat correction fairies. Just keeping it clean. All right, let's jump into the rundown here. We're going to go over our Monkey Knife Fight props first. First up, we've got some passing props. We got Matthew Stafford versus Jimmy Garoppolo. Stafford at 280.5 passing yards and Garoppolo at 245. Shockingly, I like the over for Garoppolo. Not so shockingly, I like the over for Stafford. What do you like here?
So I'm going to go over on Stafford, and I'm actually going to go the under on Jimmy G. I'm just not sold on this San Francisco team, and they're going up against, obviously this really good Rams defense that's added Von Miller. So I'm going to go under there. They don't have enough wide receivers for me.
Debo Samuel, one of the best receivers in the league so far this year. I have him with a big lead. Don't really need him to do much, but I still would like to see it. That's for sure. And Jimmy Garoppolo, surprisingly enough, he's gone over the 300 mark in his last 2 consecutive games. Ayuk's been looking better. Debo, like I said, top 5 receiver in the league, looking good. And Matthew Stafford, he's just killing this number. He's like 7-2 to this number on the season. The 7-2, maybe I'm cheating a little bit. It's technically 6-3 because there's a game where he finished exactly at 280. I'm counting it. Give it to me.
Yeah.
So 7-2 on the year to that number. He's absolutely killing it. I'm going to be, kind of following the same trend here with the rest of these guys. I'm expecting some scoring this evening. So next up, we've got Gerald Henderson and Elijah Mitchell on some rushing yards. Gerald Henderson at 71.5, Elijah Mitchell at 65.5. Again, I like the overs for both. Gerald Henderson's been killing these numbers, and when he's gone over this number, he's typically hitting like the 100-yard mark. The 49ers rushing defense is pretty bad. Elijah Mitchell going up against the Rams, they have a solid run defense, but I feel like he's going to get enough volume tonight to go over that. Give me 18 plus carries. He'll get over the 16.5 mark, or 65.5, excuse me.
Yeah, I think you totally hit that one right on the head. 49ers are giving up 90 yards on the ground to opposing running backs and about a touchdown a game. So I like Darrell Henderson to go over there, and especially if they're winning, he's just going to be given the carries to kind of just waste a clock. I like Elijah Mitchell for what you said. The volume is going to be there. This 49ers offense, really relies on that run game that they have. It has for many years under Kyle Shanahan. I think that's just Kyle Shanahan's offense. So yeah, I'm going to give him the over here.
Yeah, the play action definitely sets up the big plays downfield for sure. Going the over for both of those. And then lastly, we have Cooper Kupp versus Debo Samuel in receiving yards. Definitely going out the overs on these. These guys are both top 5 in the league for total receiving yards. So Cooper Kupp, 99.5. I ain't scared. Give me the over 100 yards. Debo Samuel, 69.5. Give it to me. Both of these guys get a lot of yards after the catch, and they can, get those extra gains with their legs and with those wheels there. So give me Samuel, give me Kupp on the over. Not afraid of it. Ready to run it all day.
Yeah, so going into this, I definitely was going over on Cooper Kupp. He's just, very, very good wide receiver paired with Matthew Stafford. I feel like that over is going to be an easy number. The number's low for Debo Samuel, and I really thought I was going to take the under just because I think he's going to be shadowed by Ramsey for much of the night, who could just really put those clamps on you.
Sure.
But like I said, he's really like their only wide receiver. They have returned Kittle. Ayuk has looked better recently. I don't know. I'm kind of flip-flopping here. I'm going to go over. I'll go over.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Ramsey is a guy that's necessarily going to be able to just body up Samuel. They use Samuel all over the field. If you start getting Ramsey chasing around Samuel all night long, it's going to open up a lot more opportunity for Kittle downfield. It's going to open up more opportunities for Ayuk across the middle, maybe a few more creative plays for him. Before we were seeing him being used as like that Swiss Army knife similar to Debo Samuel. You could see some of those opportunities happen tonight if Ramsey is to really try and shadow or take away the Debo Samuel effect. All right, let's jump into the Monday night preview here. We got Rams going to the 49ers. It seems like we're both on the Rams to win. So we're good with the spread at 3 or 3.5. What do you like?
I don't love that hook on there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win this. They're a much better team than the 49ers. So if they come out and just absolutely blast them, I wouldn't be surprised by that. But it is a division game on the road, and sometimes those, they just kind of be crazy, way off what you're thinking or the public bias. So I would maybe buy it down a half point, get it at 3, so you have the option to push.
1,000%. That's exactly what I did this evening. Not worried about the push. Honestly, I would have taken the Rams at -7. I didn't want to touch the 3.5 because if you can buy that half point for very little margin, like why not take it, right? But I would still trust them at the 3.5. I would trust them at -7, potentially even -10. To me, the books are trying to leverage the home field opportunity here, but there is none. The 49ers haven't won at home. The Rams, they haven't lost on the road. They've been a better team all year. The Rams are, 7-2 on the year, 4-5 ATS. The 49ers are just 2-6. They're not that much of a better team, covering the spread. I like their passing defense, but the Rams have a passing and rushing offense. Like they can go multifaceted here and beat you a couple of different ways. We both like Gerald Henderson tonight. I think the Rams will be moving the chains. Maybe the 49ers can do some damage, maybe even early in this game, but I don't believe that they're going to be able to hold on the entire game. They're also dealing with some injuries as well. Looks like I can get an update here really quickly, but I know Josh Norman as a backup, he was questionable tonight. Kirkpatrick is actually inactive, so I just did get that live update. He was questionable. He is going to be unavailable tonight. So you have Kawan Williams, Jimmy Ward, Huafanga, and Emmanuel Mosley starting in that backfield there. Don't love that with Kirkpatrick out. Also, you have no, that's it. Josh Norman is in the lineup, so Josh Norman will probably play alongside him. There's going to be some opportunity there to take Norman downfield for sure for a couple of big gainers. Don't trust that secondary as much as I normally would this evening, missing Kirkpatrick for sure. So I really like the Rams tonight. What do you think about the total of 50 points?
I'm worried a bit about the 49ers doing their part, but I'm going to take the over here. It kind of seems like the play. Rams, just a prolific offense, so over 50 can be done.
Yeah, I think so. I fully see the Niners being able to pull out 20 to 24 points. The Rams can easily put up 30 tonight, so I'll go to the over as well. Just no Jimmy Garoppolo turnovers. Just no pick sixes, buddy. I think you guys will make it. All right, next up, we've got the fantasy waiver wire. First up, we're looking at Marcus Johnson from the Tennessee Titans. Looked good this week, 5 of 6 on targets for 100 receiving yards, no touchdown. Obviously, Julio is out. You've had Nick Westbrook-Akine have a little bit of fantasy waiver wire love in the recent weeks. Would you prioritize Marcus Johnson over him, or just stay away from the whole situation?
I mean, I would probably put Westbrook over Marcus Johnson just because we've seen a bigger body of work from him. That doesn't mean that I'm completely out on Marcus Johnson. Deep leagues, you got to kind of take a shot, and here it is. He's had 5 targets or more in 3 weeks, 3 of his 6 weeks. So, I mean, it's definitely worth at least monitor the situation. No Julio on IR. So, yeah, in a deep league, give him a look.
Yeah, 14-team leagues. I think he's worth a stash for sure. He's got that big body, that big body in the red zone. So I think he's going to start getting more looks down there. And he outsnapped Akine this week, 63-37 on snaps. So looks like there's a little bit more opportunity for him. In the past couple of weeks, Akine just hasn't looked good. I think he's got 1 catch in both of his last 2 games. So looks like things are kind of trending towards Marcus Johnson. I think he's a guy you can probably get for free, honestly, on waiver wire. Like after the fob is spent by everybody, after waivers clear, I bet you can scoop him up for nothing. Sneaky play, in my opinion. All right, next up, we got to talk about it. Mr. Cam Douglas Newton. What do you think here? People are already starting to roster him on Yahoo. He's up to 16%. Marcus Johnson, by the way, goose egg, 0. No one owns him. Just saying. Cam Newton in general, let's try to frame this a little bit. Because not everybody's going to be like in the situation where like, oh yeah, I can just pick up Cam Newton. Whether single quarterback league, you're probably not starting Cam Newton. 2 quarterback league, maybe a little bit different. So like in any format whatsoever, whether it's dual quarterback, single, dynasty, whatever it is, are you buying in on Cam Newton?
I'm in. I just think what he can bring to that Panthers offense. You've been seeing Robbie Anderson, who's been really a non-factor this entire year, even though the targets, he's seeing a ridiculous amount of targets every week. So I think just get it. And you saw DJ Moore from the first game the first couple games when they started 3-1. I mean, DJ Moore was a huge part of that offense and seemed like he was going to have a really very, good year. And then once we started to see these struggles come on with Sam Darnold, you pretty much saw everyone lose their value on that offense, except for maybe you saw like Tommy Tremble go up a little bit just because it seemed like Darnold, he'd find him randomly at the goal line or something. But I think these players believe in Cam Newton. The media is definitely going to be banging the drum out of this storyline, him back there, and what he can offer with his legs. This late in the season, I don't necessarily know if you're getting a quarterback that can do that, or if it's like Trey Lance, who's still sitting behind Jimmy Garoppolo. So I own Newton in it's a 2 quarterback league, but yeah, I'm for it.
Yeah. I'm rooting for him, but hard pass. No thanks. I want to see a full body of work. He was pretty much brought in to be a specialist in this last game. It worked out. 2 passes, 2 touch or whatever, 2 plays, 2 touches, 2 touchdowns. Right? Like it worked out. Right? Let's see him the whole game. We still had PJ Walker in there cutting things up in between the red zones. And there's like, oh hey, we're down here in scoring position. Cam, come here, son. We need you to score, bud. And he would do it. That was great. I thought the whole moment was awesome, especially for the Panthers organization. For Cam, it was cool. Like I said, I'm rooting for him. Not touching him in fantasy. I'm just not interested. I have no idea what the Panthers' long-term commitment is going to be to Cam. Yeah, they're paying him a bunch of money, so he should be playing a lot this year. But I don't know if I want any part of it, to be honest with you, because we haven't seen him as a full starter yet. He has to, take all the snaps. He has to be in on every play. If he's, throwing a lot, he could be an interception ridden, right? We have no idea. Could start fumbling the ball more. The opportunities that he had, he absolutely took advantage of them. Seems like they had those ready. Those were pretty much like manufactured. Like, all right, we're going to run you through 3 plays and we're going to score 2 touchdowns on them. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, bud. And it worked. It was great. It was cool. Fun story for this week, for week 10, but I'm not buying into it, going forward, especially if I'm putting down FOB or any type of investment whatsoever.
So do you think Darnold returns healthy? Cam versus Darnold, who's starting?
Cam. Yeah. Just look at the damn sideline. Oh my goodness. The way they respond to this guy is crazy. And he's been there like 3 days. I know he's like a Panthers legend. He took him to a Super Bowl, left and came back. I get all that, but man, like leader among men. I don't love the phrase, but he knocks it out of the park, man. Like he talks and they listen.
Yeah, 100%. I think Darnold has proven that he's not going to be that guy for them. And I think Cam Newton, whatever it is, it's at least worth getting another quarterback, a good quarterback underneath Joe Brady and seeing what you could do with these pieces that they got, because they really do have some good pieces on their team. They just have been underperforming, mainly in large part due to bad quarterback play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not saying Sam Darnold's done. He's not canceled out of the NFL by any means, but the Panthers got to put the product on the field that best puts them in position to win. And that may very well be Cam and PJ Walker going forward as a tandem for all I know. I have no idea. Maybe that's just how they keep rolling things out. Hey, if it works, do it. And when it doesn't, switch it up. You know what I mean? So I don't hate it. But like I said, I'm going to be staying away from him in fantasy. It's very hard to gauge what to invest in him because we don't know his long-term value. May not be with this team at the end of the year. If he's not with the Panthers, who's going to sign him? Because wouldn't he have already been signed? Like there's plenty of opportunity around the league right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of them, though. I mean, obviously the Saints one might be, Trevor Siemian or Cam. I think the Seahawks were just fine with having Geno Smith running him out there for this couple weeks and then Russell. So I don't know too much on that. You got to like his leadership. I will say on Cam, if you don't put something on him this week on waivers, I don't know how likely you'll be to get him.
Well, if he plays a lot next week, because he's playing the football team next week versus Rivera, I expect him to play a lot. If that football team comes to play, that defense looks similar to this week. The team that beat Tampa Bay this week, Cam could be in trouble.
No Chase Young, though.
No Chase Young.
You lost him for a half.
Yeah, that helps. That will definitely help the situation for sure. But I'm just saying, if he has a bad showing, he may be getting dropped just as fast as he's getting picked up. We're going to move on here because this conversation is staying with the Panthers. Robbie Anderson, next man up here, only 39% rostered in Yahoo formats, and for good reason. He's had a really bad 3 weeks. Last week 1 for 3, the week prior 0 for 1, the week prior to that 3 for 9. The week 4 weeks ago he had a touchdown, but 3 on 11 targets. Like Steve was saying, he's had a bunch of targets, just hasn't been able to finish in the red zone. 4 for 6 this week, 37 receiving yards and the tutty. We scooping him up.
I'm embarrassed that I even got to say this. I think I have a share of Robbie Anderson in all but like one league, and I've had that since the draft. I'm just like, I'm going down on this ship, and now that there's some change at quarterback, because the targets have been there. Like, I mean, that's one of the biggest things. It's just he cannot convert. I think last I saw his completion, or I don't even know what it'd be, catch rate was like 34%. The lowest person all of last year was at 42%. And he is just, it's abysmal for him so far this year. But you saw just with Cam Newton already back in, you did start to see he scored a touchdown this week. So yeah, I like it just because he's seeing the targets. One of the decisions I had to make this week, I had to choose between dropping Kenny Golladay or Robbie Anderson, and I chose Kenny Golladay. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you kind of just sold me on dropping Robbie because you said you own so much of them. So I'd be like, well.
I don't know. That was like the one I planted my flag in this offseason. So I'm like,
Sure.
all right, we'll just see. We'll see where this one goes. Maybe
Right,
we
fair
get
enough.
some luck.
Nah, I don't love the Giants, so I don't hate it. But I mean, it has to be like a shorter roster. Is it 12 team or 10 team or?
I think that one, is 12 team.
Okay, yeah, that makes a little bit more sense. But still, like that's tough cutting either of those guys. I mean, me seeing Robbie Anderson on my waiver wire and a 14 teamer, I was like, okay. I mean, I'm not going to get him because I don't have any fob left. Thanks, Dearness Johnson. Appreciate that. Next up, we got Wayne Gallman Jr. for the Atlanta Falcons. No booming production here, but he got 15 touches this week. Would you rather have Wayne Gallman or Mike Davis going forward?
That's tough. That's very tough. I still probably lean Mike Davis just a little bit because he's been in that role for them. But I know it earlier in the season, and I know in our league, I picked up some shares of Wayne Gallman just because I thought what we've seen him do, especially when it was on the Giants last year when Barkley was out, I thought he ran the ball well. Just kind of a downfield runner who you can just hand the ball off to, 15 to 20 times a game, and he'll get you kind of average. So I don't know how much I love him now, just because obviously there's Patterson in the mix. You still have Davis. I'd want to see a little bit bigger body of work here. He does have matchups coming up against New England, Tampa Bay, Carolina. So some run Ds that I think are a little tougher. So it's maybe something I'm monitoring right now.
Yeah, I really don't want a piece. I thought it was interesting that he got this much work, but I'm going to stay away pretty much for the points that you alluded to. It's very crowded. We don't know how the touches are going to be divvied up. You could have Cordell at running back, who literally has been their best running back. We talked about it last week. He's literally top 10 in fantasy for rankings. I think it was 7, 6, something crazy like that. So, yeah, I would stay away from Wayne Gallman and Mike Davis. If they both become available, not interested. I would need to see an injury to Cordell. Honestly, Cordell and Pitts are the only guys I want to own on that team. No Matt Ryan, no thanks. That whole trend is kind of faded now. Next up, we got Deandre Carter of the Washington football team. Back-to-back touchdowns for Deandre Carter. Pretty impressive. 3 catches this week, 3 catches the week prior, and over 50 receiving yards out of both weeks. Not really much to hate here. I guess the only thing I'm concerned about is Curtis Samuel. He's got to come back at some point. I guess if I saw him shut down for the year, this would be a pretty appetizing pickup. Someone that you're running away from. What do you think?
Not necessarily. I personally am not in this. I'm in a lot of leagues where I'm weaker at running back, like most people, but I feel like I have enough at wide receiver where I don't have to go after someone like DeAndre Carter. But in deep leagues, seeing 6 targets, he's posted very similar games in their week 10 and week 8 with 6 targets, 3 catches, 50 plus yards, and a touchdown. If they make any quarterback change there, that might, change it up. I don't think there's going to be much positive news coming from Curtis Samuel. What I read most recent was he had to go to another independent doctor to try and get another evaluation. So it's not looking good for him right now. He's kind of like the Paul Richardson signing that the Washington had a few years ago. I'm a Curtis Samuel fan. I hope the best for him. But yeah, DeAndre Carter, deep league, I'd give him a look.
I think so. I feel bad. Someone was in our chat yesterday asking to start him, and I was like, no, T.Y. Hilton, way more likely to not get a 0. And here he is, DeAndre Carter with a touchdown, 56 receiving yards, 3 catches. So I felt bad about that. So go and scoop him up, everybody. I got to ride this bus for a couple of weeks at least just to make up for it. All right, next up, we've got, I hate this one, Matthew fucking Breida of the Buffalo Bills. 0% rostered, 2 touchdowns this week. Or was it 3? Was it 2 or 3? I don't know.
I think he only had 2.
Oh, I hope so. 3 rushing
No, he
attempts.
only had – unless he had 1 receiving. Did he have 1 receiving?
He definitely had. Yeah. He definitely had at least 2. So he had 16.97 fantasy points. He only had 28 rushing yards. So yeah, he scored another touchdown. We got Singletary scoring touchdowns. We got Moss scoring touchdowns. We've got Matt Breida scoring 2. You buying some Matt Breida?
No, there's just no chance. They're playing the Jets. They're beating the living shit out of them. And I think they said on the broadcast when Breida scored his first one, that was the first touchdown he had scored since he was on the 49ers. And, he had that stop in Miami in between there. It was like 2018 or something, I believe that was his last touchdown. I don't want anything to do with it. I barely want anything to do with that Buffalo Bills backfield. So, no, easy pass for
It's
me.
a constant headache whether I'm supposed to start Singletary, not supposed to start him. Yeah, he found the end zone this week, but, how sustainable is it? Like, it was the Jets, right? And when you weren't up by a ton, you weren't giving him the ball. You gave him the ball at garbage time. Like, super frustrating. Terrible situation to try and follow or predict. Can't stand it. No, thank you, Matt Breida. Go away. Ray McLeod III. That's your game right there, that Pittsburgh and Detroit game.
Yeah,
Ray McLeod III had himself a nice little day. 9 catches, 12 targets, 63 yards. I'm going to say no thanks. It's Matt Breida territory for me. I don't see this being sustainable. Random production. That's all I can say.
Yeah, with a backup quarterback in Mason Rudolph, if Big Ben comes off of the COVID list, I don't think there's a shot that Ray McLeod ever has this game. I think more times than not, I see him back there, especially this weekend when I was heavy on the Lions. When I do see him catch a punt, though, I'm like, man, this dude always has the opportunity to score. Not so much in the passing game, though.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan, and I feel like it was just a game situation or game flow situation where he was just getting flooded with targets. Rudolph couldn't hit Deontay, Freiermuth too. I think Freiermuth still did have a touchdown, didn't he?
Yes, I think he did.
Yeah, Freiermuth still getting it done. But Ray McLeod.
Oh no, I don't know if he did, to be honest, because I know what's his name had one. James Washington had the one. Sound did.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. All right, next up we got Gerald Everett coming off a great game, 8 catches, 8 targets, 63 receiving yards. Russ is back. He's out of the bye. Geno wasn't really using him. Games prior with Russ out, 1 catch, 2 targets, 3 catches, 3 targets, 2 catches, 3 targets, nothing over 50 receiving yards. Russ is back. In his last game with Russ, he was 5 for 5 for 54 receiving yards. This looks very similar, 8 for 8, 63. I'm all in. I don't see why not owning Gerald Everett would be a big deal.
No, I do think his upcoming schedule, though, kind of has me at a little bit of a pause. But yeah, I mean, if you're desperate for a tight end, he's just an athlete. I feel like he's been that way since he was with the Rams. And Russell Wilson, obviously, this game was terrible, but still hooked up with him 8 times on 8 targets. So yeah, I can't necessarily knock owning Gerald Everett.
Yeah, I mean, 3 of these next 4 matchups, so I really like Arizona, Washington, Houston. I mean, you have San Francisco in there. They're better against the passing game, but I still feel like he would be a good spot there. So I like, I like all those games, but specifically the Cardinals, the football team, and the Houston Texans. Those are great matchups for him. So I definitely get him on the squad. And last up here, we've got the Albert Wilson. Thursday night, a little gem, 4 catches, 5 targets, 87 receiving yards. Also 0% rostered. What do you think?
I don't want it. I don't want any part with him. That Dolphins offense, it kind of just seems like, you never know
they
which
could have
one
used Cam Newton this week.
Yeah, that's fair. Gesicki this week, when Albert Wilson had his big week, was held scoreless. Didn't even have a catch. So I'm not necessarily. Wow, that's even worse.
Gesicki had 7 targets. It led the team in targets, no catches.
Yeah, so I mean, I do think maybe Will Fuller will see some action here. We're still waiting on that. So I might just stay away for now from Albert Wilson.
I don't love it, but if someone can complete a pass, it may very well be to Albert Wilson that's catching the ball. I mean, I don't think Mike Gesicki's issues will be sustainable. I think he'll figure that out, but I don't know. Albert Wilson, he looked a lot better than Devontae Parker's looked. He's looked a lot better than even Waddle looked this past week. I'm not saying he's better than Waddle, but I think he's worth an ad. I think you can get him on your team. Stash, nice little stash. All right, let's run through our division futures. We got division odds and futures up here. First up, we've got the NFC West. We've got the Cardinals leading at -150, the Rams at +110, the 49ers at +6,600, and the Seahawks also at +6,600. I personally like the Rams here. been a very good team this year. 7-2 right now. I believe the Cardinals are 8-2. Is that right? 8-2. Still leading the division technically. I believe that the Rams with a win this evening will take over the division. And you're getting the Rams at plus money. No, that's not correct.
So now if the Cardinals beat the Rams in LA already, so they own the tiebreaker currently. I just know this because I actually have a big future bet with a bunch of divisions that's looking decent right now.
Nice.
But I agree with you. I got the Rams here at the value. You're getting at a plus number. Cardinals, I don't really know what's going on here just because, I mean, you got Kyler Murray. I think they just want to play it close to the chest with Kyler and DeAndre just because they know that they have a long season here. They're going to be in the playoffs. So they want to make sure they're fully healthy before running them out, getting them re-hurt. So I like the Rams here. The additions they've made, I think they can do it.
But because the Cardinals are going to play it safe, we may see another game or two maybe with Kyler or D-Hop out. So that's why I like the Rams even a little bit more. 49ers and Seahawks, that'd be cool. That'd be some nice money to make, but sorry, not happening. The talent's just way too strong with the Cardinals and Rams, like just being real here.
Yep.
Next up, this is a sneaky one. We got the AFC East, Bills minus 550, the Patriots plus 300, and the Dolphins at plus 15,000, Jets at plus 50,000. I'm going Patriots. And people might call me crazy, but look at the schedule. The Bills are not who we thought they were. That's for certain. You know, they lost to the Jaguars. Let's keep that in mind. I mean, cool. Took care of business up against the Jets. That's a participation trophy at best. The Jaguars should have handled business. We've seen some other woes from them throughout the season, but the Pats are surging. Pats are undefeated at home. They got their quarterback. Defense is great. I like their schedule just a tad bit more, and they still have to play the Bills twice. So realistically, it's going to come down to those two games. They're only one game behind the Bills right now. What do you think?
So I guess I got kind of two different takes here because the first one, as a football fan, I think the Bills can do it. They just have it is a tight race right now, but I think that they just have some of the better pieces with Diggs on offense, Josh Allen. You don't have to worry about your rookie quarterback kind of falling apart late as the season progresses at all. But from a gambling perspective, you get the Patriots at plus 300, and like you said, they are red hot right now. They got two games against the Bills. If they can, if they could split them or even win both of them, that will put them ahead by quite a bit. So from a gambling perspective, I do like them at plus 300.
And I tell you what, the Bills this week, I believe they're going up against the Colts. I'm not sure if that game's at home or on the road, but the Patriots are taking on the Falcons, and they're 7-point favorites on the road. Now, I'm not saying that the Patriots are a home run pick there, but they handle business, and maybe the Bills have a close one, maybe even take a loss this week. This division could be tied. You're going to lose that plus 300. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
got to get some daylight on these guys. We got Dark Sage in the chat with a lot to say. Steelers and Lions yesterday were acting like the Pirates and the Tigers. Yeah, that's about right. Always have the lead and blowing it at the end. Yes, also about right. Now I know why both teams are terrible. Well, they were pretty bad from before. We kind of knew that, right? Steelers always playing down to their teams or their opponent, and the Lions. Apparently they only care if they're on the road. They hate playing at home. The Lions and the Tigers in disguise, and the Steelers are the Pirates in disguise. Yeah, very good there, Dark Sage. They should be played in the PNC Park, and the quarterbacks pitch, and the wide receivers steal bases. Maybe you're onto something there. Appreciate the input, sir. Keep it coming. All right. Next. Oh, sorry. Skipping divisions. Next up, we've got the NFC South. So Buccaneers, big favorites here at minus 650. Saints are at plus 525. Just one game back at plus 525, actually. Panthers are at plus 1,800, and the Falcons are at plus, was that 40? 4,000. At plus 4,000. Yeah, I still like the Buccaneers here. It's actually pretty close. Buccaneers, they've taken their knocks on the chin, but still I think the better team. The Saints are constantly trying to refigure themselves out, recreate their identity. Is Alvin Kamara, or is Mark Ingram Alvin Kamara? Is Jameis Winston our future quarterback? Is Trevor Siemian our future quarterback? And what do we do with Taysom Hill? Like, I just feel like there's a lot of questions around that offense, and I don't have the confidence. Even at that value at the plus 525 with the game back, I can't do it.
Yeah, I think you're right. The Buccaneers have really looked like one of the better when they're on. The Buccaneers look like one of the best teams in football, so it's hard to go against that. And I think they're the more complete team, whether it be the running game, passing, defense, whatever it might be. Saints, it just seems like another problem, kind of pops its head up every week. It's Kamara one week, then it's who's starting at quarterback, then it's the defense sits an egg one week. It's just like it's tough. So I do not like the value at plus 525. And I'm not betting against Tom Brady, so I like the Buccaneers. Maybe wouldn't run to bet it. It's at minus 650. Not getting much value.
Yeah, similar to why I'm picking the Patriots. You shouldn't bet against Bill. All right, next up, we've got the AFC North, another tight one. So Ravens at minus 130 to win the division. Browns plus 425, Bengals plus 475, and the Steelers also at plus 475. Oddly enough, the Steelers and Bengals are tied for odds here, but the Steelers are now second in this division. Mindful, the Bengals did have their bye week this week, so this is a really close one. I feel like I want to pick the Bengals, but I feel like the correct bet is still the Ravens. They still seem to be the most all-around team, and it's really hard to just count them out at really any given point. Like, yeah, they've blown some games, sure, but when they're coming back in games and when they're trying to move the needle to get back in it, it seems like a home run every time. I feel like I trust the Ravens the most here, and that's where I would lean my confidence in this pick. But obviously, I'm not getting the value.
Yeah, you want to bet the Bengals just because you love the Bengals and want to bet
I have a problem.
them every single week.
Yes, I have a
problem. It's wild that here are the Steelers with plus 475, the longest odds out of any of them. And if they just win that game against the Lions, they're in sole possession of first place in that division. But I don't love them. I don't love anyone except for the Ravens. They look like the best team in this division, kind of week in and week out. Browns, it's kind of the highs and lows, ins and outs of who's going to be playing, COVID, whatever it is. They got too much going on in their locker room. Bengals, they've after that win over the Ravens, they really start to slide. And then Steelers, they have a very, very tough schedule. I think it's easy here at minus 130. And after the Ravens beat the Bears next week, this number's going to climb to minus 200.
You mean Greg Roman's offense in Chicago versus Greg Roman's offense in Baltimore?
Yeah, that's fair.
It looks like exactly like it now, like the way that they're running fields on these options and stuff like that. I was like, oh, well, maybe Greg Roman will be our head coach next year. I don't know. I have no idea.
The Bears are last in offense this year. Greg Roman was
not
last
rushing offense.
Passing, I should say passing. And then last year, Greg Roman was last in
top
passing
5, baby.
offense.
Top 5 on the ground. Let's go.
That's wild.
Yeah, you got to take the good where you can. I've been a Bears fan for a while, but I've learned to figure that out. All right, next up, we've got the AFC South Titans, heavy favorites here. I feel like we're going to really lean into them. Minus 5,000 for them to win. Colts plus 700. Jags plus 50,000. Texans plus 10,000. Maybe that's 100. I don't know. I can't count zeros this far away.
That's 100.
Okay, so I feel like we're going to Titans here. I feel like we can keep this one pretty simple.
Yeah, that's who I have actually in my division parlay. They've just been able to get it done. They're sitting, I think, at 8-2, and the Colts are now at 5-5.
The Colts are at 5-5, yeah. And I mean, that's not to say that the Colts, can't get it close, but in 3-game separation, the Titans, they are never out of it, man. They're never out of it. We saw them last week beat the Rams without Derrick Henry on the road. Like, what?
Yep. And then they had a tough one, obviously, this week against the Saints, but they were still able to get the job done when it mattered. So I just cannot doubt them. A.J. Brown, terrible week. Julio Jones on IR. No Derrick Henry, but the Titans just get it done. I don't know.
Look, there's Marcus Johnson. It's like,
yeah, that's exactly
next playmaker. Yeah, it's awesome what they're doing. How about Foreman coming back? He was looking good too, huh?
Running back?
Yeah, he was with the Titans this week, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, I do think Dante, right? Dante Foreman.
It's only one I can think of.
Oh, that's Royce Freeman. I'm getting my Freeman and Foremans mixed up.
Yeah, Dante Foreman. Yeah. 5 carries, 29 yards, and he had that's pretty much it. 5 carries, 29 yards. But hey, get him, Dante Foreman. You're not hurt. You're playing football. That's brilliant, man. That's great. Good for you, pal.
Hey, you can't forget about old Adrian Peterson, baby.
Well, he could do a lot. He could do a little bit better. I mean, he got the touchdown, but 10 for 21. It's like maybe he could do a little bit better. I'm just saying, AP, all day, maybe some part of the day. I don't know. Just saying. AFC West, we got Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos. So Chiefs minus 105 to win the division. Chargers plus 155. Raiders plus 700. The Broncos are at plus 1200. I feel like the Raiders number is a little disrespectful. I'm not a huge Raiders guy. I know I rock the hat every now and again, try to knock on wood if you're with me and all that good stuff. But obviously that's over. But they're 5-4, and so are the Chargers. And you're going from plus 155 to plus 700. That's a big jump. That's a big leap for the same exact record.
I don't know. They just lost at home to the Chiefs. They have another one against them now in Arrowhead. So that's going to be obviously if they couldn't even stay in this game, they got completely bamboozled last night. I don't think they have a chance on the road in Arrowhead. I don't and we've seen what's happened to their team recently, obviously head coach, receiver, everything. And then last night, their running game just disappeared. It didn't matter if it was Kenyon Drake, Josh Jacobs. They were I think they finished both with under 20 yards. It's like you can't have that against a very bad. I shouldn't say very bad. A bad rushing defense. Chiefs aren't much there. I think the Chargers have the best chance of all these teams. I guess I could see if you want to say value there, they got the same record and it's that much of a drop off. I think the smart money here though is on the Chiefs. They've got some of their worst football out of the way. You're getting them at minus 105. Really no juice there. I don't know who do the Chiefs have coming up. Let's take a look at that.
I still like the Chargers. That's the team that I have circled here. I still think that they're the pick. I mean, you look at the Chargers rushing defense, it's bad. It's one of the worst in the leagues. The Chiefs, they've played some of their worst football as of yet, but they're still really hurting on the ground. They're still really hurting in the air. And last night, I just didn't feel like the Raiders were ready. Like they lost what's his name, Arnett, out of their secondary. Their secondary is playing really well, like a top 10 passing defense in the league. They're getting a ton of pressure up front from Max Crosby. But what's going to be the MO going forward? And I felt like they had a couple, like the Deshaun Jackson drive. I felt that killed the whole game to me. They were coming down the field.
Thing ever.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a Deshaun Jackson play if I've ever seen one. Though, we've seen him toss him to the ground on the goal line. We've seen all sorts of bonehead stuff out of him. So that was definitely right up his alley, on brand for Deshaun. But I felt like that was really just a killer. It took all the wind out of their sails, all the momentum out of the Raiders' hands. They would have been down by a field goal if they finished off that drive with a touchdown. You really feel like you're in the game. The Chiefs come down and they score a touchdown on that same drive. It's over. I felt that way anyways watching it. And the body language I was seeing from them on the sidelines wasn't that great thereafter either. Matthew Stafford just threw an interception. What the fuck was that? It was like he punted it himself on 2nd and 8. What was that, Staff? You seeing ghosts out there? The books knew. Oh, it was Odell. My bad. It was Odell. Let's blame
Odell's fault.
Well, Odell's number 3 now, right?
Yep. Did you hear the story about that?
I think
it was Schefter that broke it.
Was it Schefter? He ran the wrong route. He ran the wrong route.
Oh yeah, that'll happen when you're only there, a short week.
Right.
I guess there was that almost was a holdup in him not signing with the Rams because he couldn't get 13 or 3. But luckily, Cam swear this is Schefter, Rappaport. It might have been Rappaport that tweeted it. Yeah, talk about it. That doesn't help your diva case there, Odell. Luckily, they could rip number 3 away from Cam Akers and told him, I guess, tough luck. Yeah. He was wearing 23, I want to say, last year.
That
and then with
is not cool. The Rams. Why you doing things like that for divas? Going out of your way to please someone, man, it's just annoying as hell. You have to be that on brand. You're that concerned about your personal marketing That's right up Juju territory. Juju's like, oh, it's so hard to start over in a brand new market. Why would I want to go? Why would I want to go to the Chiefs? I'll have to start my marketing thing all over. I got to come up with whole brand new TikTok dances. Where is it? There it is. There it is. That's a flag.
Oh, I think we lost some sound from you. Your flag. Yeah. Nothing. If you're talking to me, everyone watching, if you can hear him, let us know in the chat here. Okay, so next up, we got NFC East. For me, I think this is easy. This is just going to be the Cowboys running away with it. Minus 2,500, not really getting much value, but Dak and everyone there is balling out. I don't see anyone even close to this. Eagles have their own flaws. Football team has their own flaws, and Giants are god awful.
Sorry about that. That was a direct hit. It's a thin wire, like going straight to the camera. It's not very big. I just nailed it on the head with like the bottom like this. It's nothing. Man, Panther should have called me.
Yeah.
Could thread a needle. All right. How far did you get?
So no, I pretty much ran over my thoughts and everyone in the division. Cowboys, I think it's pretty easy to say they're clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, they're a lock. Yeah, I'd say. I agree with you. Lock to win the division. And the NFC North, the Packers, lock to win the division.
Yeah. I hate to go chalk there, and I hate to even say that. But, you know, I don't know. The Lions at plus 100,000, they tied a game. Everyone.
Shut the Oh, man, that was too much. Yeah, I mean, the Lions, again, on the road, they throw the kitchen sink at you. At home, they really don't care. It's not a big deal to them. I don't know what it is.
They got the Bears circled, though. I know they have the Bears on Thanksgiving circled on their calendar, and that'll probably be the game they win.
No, I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy that game. Hosting the fam. Fam's coming to Maryland for Thanksgiving. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. So I'm hosting Bruni's Thanksgiving vacation. It's going to be good. I'll be one of the few there. A few Bruni's there, but yeah, it'll be good. Bears will knock the piss out of them on Thanksgiving. That's a Justin Fields moment. Prime time Thanksgiving. Big market game. Oh yeah. That's Justin Fields.
I'll take it. I would happily take that.
Yeah, Justin Fields is going to rush for 100 yards in that game.
Book it.
Watching this. What's that? Book it.
I said book it. I like that. I also like Dalton Schultz touchdown on Thanksgiving. I've liked that since like week 2.
Oh, okay. Sweet.
I had to put it on my calendar.
Week 2, he wasn't even fully the guy yet, so that's cool.
Oh yeah.
All right, right on. All right, well, we don't have much else here. We're just kicking off 11 minutes into this, or not into this game, but 11 minutes left in the first. No really live betting opportunities here, unless you had, Stafford interception on the first drive. I did take the Rams to cover the 3 at halftime, so long way to halftime, but doesn't look good to start. Yeah, Odell, run better routes, or the routes you're supposed to run, please. What the hell? Matthew Stafford, don't throw to ghosts. Look like Sam Darnold out there. Seriously, that looked like a punt. That looked like a flag football punt. 500. Shunk. I don't know. Weird start already. Hopefully we get some stability here. Things start to normal out for us, all right? You got anything to share with the folks before we head out?
No, let's go Rams, close out these parlays, and let's get after it.
Yep, and let's go Bulls tonight. Lonzo, Caruso, back to LA. Let's get it done. Let's take care of business tonight.
Yep, Kobe White returns too. Gotta love it.
Yep, yes sir. He's gonna play really good, and then we're gonna trade him right away. All right. Take care. Be good, everybody. Be good. And if you can't be good at it. We'll see you later.